Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. What's up guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not an expert, do your own research. Today I wanted to talk about Bitcoin dominance, ETHBTC, and some different altcoin cycles. I really wanted to talk about the subject because I did some threads recently about why Bitcoin is moving really hard, but altcoins are not moving. I know a lot of people are exposed to altcoins. That's typically the overall case. In the crypto market, everybody's exposed to altcoins. Nobody has any Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's going up and my altcoins are not. So like what gives? I really wanted to talk about what the overall cycles are and what to look for and how to understand alt-BTCs, pairs, as well as Bitcoin dominance. So to begin, I'm going to talk about what an alt-BTC pair is. Really, an altcoin BTC pair, this is how it used to be traded back in the day, quote unquote, back in like 2017 and 2018, 2019. Many of the altcoins were paired in BTC. They weren't paired in USDT like you see today. So for example, most of the pairs that you could trade were just alt-BTC pairs. Now, what is an alt-BTC pair? Alt-BTC pair is simply the altcoin price divided by the Bitcoin price. So if DOT is $100 and Bitcoin is $200, DOT is 0.5 in the DOT BTC pair. Very simple. It's a very dynamic thing, obviously, because you're taking two prices, and they are very dynamic. Obviously, whatever the Bitcoin price is can change a lot, and whatever the DOT price is can change a lot too. And you're just taking those two against each other. Now, when the alt-BTC pair goes down, that means that you would have been better off holding Bitcoin. So what that means is that, excuse me, if you have DOT and it goes up 2%, but then Bitcoin goes up 5%, then your DOT BTC pair is going to go down. That means you would have been better off holding off Bitcoin instead of DOT. And on the flip side, if DOT goes up 5% and Bitcoin goes up 2%, the DOT BTC pair would go up. So then you would increase and you would outperform Bitcoin. I think that's important to understand, and that's also something that a lot of people don't really think about as much. And I also really want to highlight too that for the most part, alt-BTC pairs usually go down over Bitcoin, against Bitcoin over the long run, meaning that Bitcoin will outperform the vast majority of the altcoin market over long time periods. Now, there are time periods in very short amounts of time where the altcoins will outperform Bitcoin. We typically call those things alt seasons or something else, but generally speaking, altcoins are going to underperform Bitcoin other than usually key weeks or potentially months of crazy rallying, and the rest of the time they bleed against Bitcoin. So that's just a little bit of background of the alt-BTC pair. And we're currently in an environment right now where Bitcoin looks very strong. It broke out of a 9-month range, and the weekly candle looked very good last week. And we haven't seen any altcoins move in general. Typically, and it depends on the overall market conditions, the last time that we really saw this strongly, and I'll show the chart here, is in 2021, where Bitcoin really moved really strongly, and altcoins just chopped around, and they didn't really do a whole lot. As you can see here, this chart, this is the .USDT chart, and I'll note that Binance is currently down right now, so that's why there's not any live data feed, but that's fine. I mean, we're not really going to be looking at live charts anyway. DOT was in this overall range, so you could have bought it at the beginning of September, and you could have held it to the end of December, and price wouldn't have relatively moved. It went top to bottom almost 50%. Of course, that's a big move down, but then this was a long consolidation period. Now, this is just a comparison between the DOT USDT pair and the DOT BTC pair. So, for example, you can make an argument and say, hey, you know what, I bought this, I bought some .USDT, and it's just kind of consolidating. It's not really moving a whole lot. I'm not really down. But if you compare the .Bitcoin chart, where Bitcoin went down very significantly over that time period, top to bottom. You can see that I think it's like 70% or something, if I recall correctly. Okay, so like 60, I'm sorry, it's like 70% top to bottom. So you bled a lot in Bitcoin, the Bitcoin pair. You lost 70% of your value, and your USDT pair was fairly stable. Like, if you bought at any point, like throughout September, or even like, whatever, even at the top of the market in August, like you weren't really down much. Even in, December or whatever, or November, you weren't down a whole lot, relatively speaking. Now, it's important to look at these two charts because we are about to be in a similar situation, in my opinion, where a lot of the alt USDT pairs are going to consolidate and chop around, and the alt BTC pair is going to go down. So let's take a look at some context here. I will pull up the let's take a look at what Bitcoin dominance is here, and then I'm going to go into some other things. Okay, so what is Bitcoin dominance? Bitcoin dominance is Bitcoin's total market cap, divided by the total crypto market cap. So for example, if Bitcoin's total market cap is 1 trillion and total crypto market cap is 2 trillion, then Bitcoin dominance is at 50%. And of course, those two are obviously always going to be changing depending on how much money is going into altcoins, relatively speaking. And it's also important to understand like the context of what happened and where we're at. So I'll go into like a very brief history here. For the majority of Bitcoin's lifetime, all throughout the early days, there really weren't too many altcoins. Altcoin popularity really exploded back in 2017. That was like the huge explosive growth of Ethereum. Like if you look at the ETHBTC chart, and we can go into that later on, you can see that during ETHBTC's huge run in 2017, I think that was like the biggest run that it had in its total lifetime. And you can see Bitcoin dominance, it went from 96%, so there were pretty much no altcoins whatsoever back then. And I remember actually I bought my first Ripple in like early 2017 or maybe late 2016, I can't remember. But there were very few altcoins in general back then. That really exploded when ETH came out and really gained a lot of popularity. ETH gained a lot of market cap relative to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's overall dominance went from 96% all the way down to around 50%. Now, I also want to really talk about the fact that the Bitcoin dominance chart is very solid these days, but it's not as good as it used to be for a few reasons. Number one, there's a lot more DEX activity than there was back in the day, and you also had a lot more selective process with just altcoins being listed on exchanges and the overall trading volumes back then. Whereas DEX is, anybody can spin up a shit coin these days, and that's going to dilute this chart a little bit. It's still useful, of course, for an overall contextual thing, but it's something to just note. Okay, so big ETH run, and then ETH consolidated. I remember went from like, I don't remember, $15, $10 to like 300. Insane run. I remember buying my first Ethereum at like $17, $15. I can remember something around there. And price went back up, and not price. Bitcoin dominance went up as Bitcoin had that huge run in the summer from 2017 all the way up to 20K. And after that, we had the greatest alt season of all time. And why I say it's the greatest alt season of all time is because the market structure, and I don't mean it from a TA standpoint, I mean just like what we had available on the market at that time was very different than what we had today. Alt BTC pairs were very dominant. There weren't a whole lot of derivatives exchanges back then relative to today. Everything was denoted in BTC. We had the insane ICO run where like literally ICOs were popping off left and right. Things were doing like 1,000% plus. It was just fucking wild, honestly. And it was, I don't know if we'll see something like that again for a lot of reasons, but like in the way that happened, that is. Anyways, you can see, as I said, typically speaking, when Bitcoin goes on a very strong run, and I'm going to compare a little bit of this to Bitcoin, the Bitcoin chart after this little bit, this brief history lesson. But typically speaking, Bitcoin dominance goes up, meaning that Bitcoin's total share of the market cap will go up as Bitcoin gets stronger. And during strong alt season runs, Bitcoin dominance goes down, meaning that there's more money flowing to Bitcoin from Bitcoin into altcoins. And usually that means it's top of the market type of situation too, because that's where everybody starts to get really greedy. Everybody starts to throw due diligence out the window. Everybody's like aping into random shit coins. And then it's usually close to the end at that point. So this was the greatest alt season of all time, where Bitcoin dominance went from like 70% all the way down to 35%. Lots of money flew into altcoins. For the preceding 2 years, all of 2018 to 2019, Bitcoin dominance rose. So like a good way to think about it too is that when Bitcoin dominance goes up, that usually means that your altcoins are getting fucked. And what I mean by getting fucked is that your alt BTC pairs are bleeding and going down a lot. So alt BTC pairs, those are going to bleed when Bitcoin dominance goes up, meaning that you would have been better off holding Bitcoin. And that's even saying if Bitcoin is going down in value, and Bitcoin dominance is still going up, that means that your alt's probably down like 70% or 80% or 95%, and Bitcoin might be down like 40%. So you're still down in overall USD value, and you're down money, but you still would have been better off holding Bitcoin than you would your altcoin. So this is what happened in 2018 to 2019. As I said, there were more USDT pairs going up happening during 2019, and you did see a lot of random alts popping off, but for the most part, the majority of the market was in alt BTC pairs. What happened in this kind of 2019 period was really after the big March kind of dump in 2020, the COVID crash. Bitcoin dominance went up a little bit, but we really saw Bitcoin dominance start to come down in the summer of 2020. And the reason for that was DeFi summer. DeFi summer was great. It was the first time we really saw a lot of, DEX activity, AMMs, a lot of lending, like a lot of stuff like that really pop up, and that really sparked a lot of huge growth. You saw that with like Aave, Compound, Curve, Uniswap, all those like crazy sushi. You saw a lot of Wi-Fi. You saw all these crazy DeFi coins really lead the charge. And that's when Bitcoin dominance was going down. Altcoins were actually having its first real run in 2 years. After that, altcoins really went into a cooling period from the fall of 2020 and winter of 2020. And this is when you saw that dot chart where price just consolidated, chopped around, didn't do anything over a 3-month period. And then we had the second big alt season in 2021, early 2021, all the way to May of 2021. Alts did fucking crazy numbers. And all the money, when Bitcoin went from 10K to 60K, a lot of that money flew into altcoins. And, we had this last true alt season, in my opinion. A true alt season is where you see altcoins all flying consecutively. There's not any... everything just goes off. It doesn't matter what you hold. You can pretty much hold anything. Sure, there's going to be outperformers, but for the most part, you can just buy something and it's going to go up in value. Trading is incredibly easy during those times because, things just keep going up and market structure looks great, TA-wise, and everybody's aping it and having a great time. After that point, we saw Bitcoin have that kind of crash from, I think, 60K to 30K in the summer of 2021. And at that point, we went into a PvP environment where, what I mean by PvP is player versus player, where liquidity was very fragmented. We saw lots of narrative-driven trading and lots of sectors getting a lot of liquidity and many of the sectors not. So, for example, we saw the Layer 1 trade. We saw Metaverse trade. We saw Axie Infinity Gaming play to earn trade. We saw ZK trades. We saw all sorts of narratives pop up all throughout 2021. And similarly in 2022 as well. I mean, 2022 was mostly bad. Everything just kind of died for the most part, but there was still kind of this narrative-driven trading, and this is kind of where we're at today. We're at this narrative-driven trading part where liquidity is fragmented, and there's only like a few, altcoins popping off. Like your random shitcoin is just chopping around and doing nothing. Look at Chainlink; that thing has done nothing for the last almost year. And where are we at right now? We're at a point now where Bitcoin dominance looks like it's about to make another leg up. I could be wrong, and maybe we just start breaking down. And if we break down, that means that altcoins are going to take off. Remember, Bitcoin dominance go down, altcoins go up, typically speaking, at least the Alt-BTC pairs. If you do see Bitcoin dominance break up, at that point, then altcoin, especially Alt-BTC pairs, are probably going down. Alt-USD pairs are probably going to chop around. So we can coincide this overall with the Bitcoin chart here. Okay. Let's see. How do I do this? 3 day. 3 day. Okay. All right, so where are we at? Like, Bitcoin chopped around for the majority of 2020, and you can see like the little cursor, it's moving along at the same time periods. As I said, when Bitcoin goes on a big run, so this is October 2020 to January, you can see that Bitcoin dominance is going up right here, and the big run is going up right here. And that's very common. When Bitcoin goes up in value strongly, then typically speaking, Bitcoin dominance goes up as well. And what you see is when Bitcoin chills out, 2021, of early 2021, January, February, March, 2021, Bitcoin dominance goes down. This is in a bullish market, though. That's important to note. So, for example, if you go back in time to 2018, kind of this time period here, you can see that Bitcoin dominance goes up. Even though we see it kind of consolidating, Bitcoin dominance is going up because we're in a bear market. We're going from 20K all the way down to 6K floor all throughout 2018. Bitcoin dominance is going up. So I think it's best to contextualize it like this. Bitcoin dominance going up usually means that all BTC pairs are going down, meaning that you would have been better off holding Bitcoin. When Bitcoin is in a bullish market structure and Bitcoin is moving hard, Bitcoin dominance goes up. So, for example, here in December this run from 3K to 20K in 2017, Bitcoin dominance was going up. Once Bitcoin started having a little bit of a downtrend in late 2017, early 2018, we saw the greatest alt season of all time. And at that point, we saw a bear market. When bear markets hit, Bitcoin dominance will go up. So meaning that altcoins are not going to have stronger performance than Bitcoin in bear markets, period. Bitcoin might still be going down in value, but it's still going to be safer than altcoins. So as I said, 2018, Bitcoin dominance going up, altcoins down. And that was also true in 2020. Look, in 2020, you saw this time period here where 2020, you saw the majority of altcoins kind of slowly die down. And as Bitcoin went down, you did see a lot of altcoins sell off. Bitcoin dominance, January to June, Bitcoin dominance went up. I will say, though, that Bitcoin dominance did a little bit better from June of 2022 And that was mostly because of Ethereum, a lot of the ETH 2.0 stuff. That really saved a lot of the overall altcoin market. But I don't think it's representative of the entire altcoin market, meaning that even though ETH was decent during this time period and why Bitcoin dominance went down, the majority of the altcoin market still bled really badly. And the majority of them are down like 90% plus. Maybe not, or they were down from the bottoms, maybe not now. So now where are we at the point? We are at a point where Bitcoin is exiting a strong range, as you can see. 9-month range. I'll just go straight to, I will go straight to just the Bitcoin chart. So we're at a point now where Bitcoin is at escaping the 9-month range and looks strong, weekly close above. If Bitcoin goes on a strong run, then I think that we see, anywhere from like 35 to like 40K. I don't know what it's going to look like. Maybe something like this. If we see something like this, then altcoins, especially all BTC pairs, are going to just chill out and consolidate. It's going to be similar to some of the other runs where we saw in 2020 and 2021. And to be clear, this isn't really the same environment. I don't expect a run from 10K to 60K. I don't envision a run from 15K to even like 50K. I think that's a bit high. I think macro environments have changed quite a bit and that we're not going to see quite the same gain. With that said, I do believe that it's quite possible that we see something like 2019 where we see this 15K, I don't know, to 45K possibly. I don't know where it's going to run. 2019, we saw a run from 3.5K all the way up to like 14K and then all the way back down again to 6K. And if this happens, then I think we see Bitcoin dominance go up and altcoins pretty much chop around. There are a few scenarios where I did envision altcoins potentially having a quicker run than I expect. And the reason is that there is there's a overall volume gap between like this 29K and this 25K area. And usually, generally speaking, you'll see price like to fill these areas out. Not always, but most of the time. And what would happen and what this would look like, if price traded down to 25K and then like kind of chopped around like this, at that point, we would see some strong alt season come in. And that would happen sooner rather than later. With that said, I do believe that Bitcoin does look like it's on the strong verge of a breakout. And I do believe that we're going to see something closer to something like this. And if we see something like this, where we see price trading around that area, it'll go up to 35K, have a strong retest down to like 26 or something. At that point, we see a trading range. And that point, I think altcoins will start to do pretty well. So you might see a lot of overall people right now saying that they have a lot of BTC exposure. And that's because they expect BTC to pretty much outperform nearly every single altcoin. I know this is long. Sorry. I haven't done one of these types of videos in a while, though. So, lastly, I'm going to go into ETHBTC. ETHBTC is usually a pretty good macro indicator of what these altcoin cycles are like. And what I mean by that is when ETHBTC goes up, that usually means that the entire altcoin market is going up. And when it's going down, that usually means the entire altcoin market is going down in terms of alt BTC pairs. So what we saw, these typical market cycles that we saw for several years, where we had the greatest alt season of all time in 2017, end of 2017 and early 2018. We saw a 1-month cooling period from kind of January to February. And then we had like this springtime bounce, from like March 8 or April. It wasn't as strong as the initial pump, and then we saw summer death. We saw this cycle happen several times all throughout 2018, 2019. Strong move again, end of 2018. 1-month cooling period at the January, February period. One strong month of pumping in February to March. And then we saw the summer death. This is what happened in 2018. Once again, 2019 and 2019 going into 2020. Strong move up, from January to February. 1-month cooling period. 1 month going back up in the springtime, not as strong as the first one, and then summer death. Now, this this cycle got a little bit interrupted in 2020 with DeFi summer, and it definitely got interrupted a lot too in kind of this period of 2021 when we started to go more into PvP environment trading. But a good, I think, rule of thumb that you can do is that you can have more Bitcoin than Ethereum when ETHBTC is trading down, and then when ETHBTC is trading up or getting close to a support area, that's at the point where you just buy a lot of Ethereum. So this is how I used to mostly trade, if I'm being honest with you. I used to mostly just trade in ETHBTC. I would just take my ETH and buy Bitcoin at certain points, and then I would do the opposite. I would take my Bitcoin and throw it into ETH, and then I would just make a lot more of each of those coins and just accumulate both of those coins. One thing you can do here is you can look for some of these lower areas around this 055 Ethereum ETHBTC level. At that point, you can just buy a lot of ETH with your Bitcoin, and then you can expect it to pretty much outperform Bitcoin for at least a little bit of time. I don't know when that's going to be. Probably when Bitcoin is done doing its thing. So, if Bitcoin is on its strong run, then you are going to see ETHBTC continue to go lower. And then, once Bitcoin starts to cool off, then you should see ETH outperform Bitcoin. Okay, so this video is almost like 30 minutes long. I know this is like a really long one, so hopefully you guys stayed with me the entire time. I hope this gave you a good framework of how to analyze Bitcoin dominance, how to think about Alt-BTC cycles, and how to actually play these types of things. Remember, when Bitcoin goes up, Bitcoin dominance usually goes up. When Bitcoin goes down in a bear market, Bitcoin dominance also goes up. The prime time that you trade altcoins is when Bitcoin is in a bullish market and also just consolidating and chopping around. That's what happened in 2020. That's what happened in 2021. And currently we are in a PvP environment. Currently speaking, we are at a situation where Bitcoin escaped the 9-month range and is currently trading very strongly. And I'm expecting that it's going to take a lot of the liquidity. Bitcoin is going to keep running. And then the minute Bitcoin stalls out and starts to chill out, that's when altcoins are really going to fly. I expect another 2x for many of these altcoins, if not more. And that's, of course, assuming that Bitcoin continues its strong trading trend. If it starts to just totally fully retrace and go back down to like 20K, then obviously then it's just all over for a lot of altcoins. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was a long one, but thanks so much for the support.